will simply be darned. It is Friday night, live improv. It's coming to you from Tucson, Arizona at Unscrewed Theater with a fabulous cast. I have just a wonderful group of improvisers for you tonight. We're going to be going in and out, one piece, then we'll go away, and then come back with another piece. It's a cornucopia of improv. And hey, to get us started, we're going to play a game called Goon River. Um, we're going to take you now to visit the inhabitants of the town of Goon River. And they're going to tell us all about the big event in the life of a small town, which is the opening of the new Emporium. Something happened at that opening, and we're going to get to the bottom of it on this interview. Uh, Are we ready to chat? Let's all chat. Let's start with you, Ruby Red. Uh, uh, Tell us who you were, what you did in the town, and whether you were for or against.
Well, I thank you for beginning with me. Usually I am left to the end. I have a very special place in Goon River. My job, like the job of my mother before me and her mother before, is to make people happy. Select people, generally mostly men, but not entirely, who are not happy. They are settled, they are respected, many of them, but they are not happy in their most intimate moments. So they tend to seek me out, and I find special ways of making them happy and asking very little except for an initial emolument, and then off they go. And I know that the new Emporium is going to sell wonderful things, special things, some of which they have never seen before, and I will be very pleased to demonstrate for them.
Oh, cool. All right. That sounds very interesting. Stinky Johnson. That is a difficult nickname to end up with, Stinky. Maybe you can tell us how you fit into Green River and whether you are for or against the Emporium.
Yeah. 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 I I'm not very popular in high school, but I think that the Emporium would be a good thing, so I could get gifts for possible girlfriends. I might find or meet when I get older and more worldly, or maybe just for Ruby.
Ruby's always an option, is my understanding. Liddy Louise, nice to meet you. Can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, hello, young fella. My name is Miss Letty. Some people call me Letty Lou, but I've been the seamstress in this here town, Goon River, for many a year, and I love to sew for all the people, and and it's my specialty, and I'm really good at it. So I'm against this new emporium with its modern day clothes, and it's all these pre-sewed stuff that people can just buy right off the rack. I'm against it.
I would imagine that you would be. I would imagine that makes sense. Hey, Scooter McCall, I'm Scotty Watson. Maybe we have the first. We're related. Tell me about your life in.
Well, I'm head of Scooter's Collision and Bagel Emporium, and I think that the new store. I'm optimistic because if the parking lot's real small, there'll be a lot of collisions. And I've already gotten some new orders. Although I got one from Ruby for some chain links and handcuffs, which don't have a lot to do with collision, but we filled the order.
That could be totally something different. We're not exactly sure. Janice, tell us about yourself and how you fit in a goon river.
So, so I'm finally old enough to actually go get a real job, and I tried to talk to Scooter about working at the Bagel Emporium, but he said no. Yeah, he said I wasn't cool enough. But I really like Stinky Johnson. He doesn't know that yet. So I'm gonna go to the new Emporium and see if they'll hire me, because then I'd have money and then I could like actually buy nice things for myself.
Oh, okay. Maybe that'll happen. We can only hope. Hey, George, I understand that you're a salesman. That's exciting.
Absolutely, Scotty. We are so excited for our grand opening. This town of Goon River has never seen a selection of fine lingerie and gifts adult gifts that have ever been made. The things that you are going to find, you cannot find within 100 miles of Goon River right now. And that's why this emporium is so special.
All right. Well, it might put some people out of work with what you're selling, but hey, Tammy, tell us, Tammy Acorn. What a lovely name.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm just going to start by saying anybody who goes to this new emporium when it opens is a sinner. They are a dirty, dirty, dirty sinner. It's just the devil's emporium is what it is. It's just vile. I can't believe our town approved of it.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's a thing that's about to happen. So strap in. Hey, Scooter, I wanna take you to the day before this thing opened. What were you doing the day before the Emporium opened?
I think I was repairing a 57 Chevy. Again, this new Emporium had a couple of unusual orders. They wanted just to see if I had a back seat that could convert to a bed. I don't know what they're completely what they are, but it's getting me new business, so I'm kind of in favor of it. I don't know if it's the devil's work, but I'm getting business out of it.
Oh, it's very common. It's very common. Speaking of which, Ruby, tell me about the day before the Emporium opened.
Oh, I was thanking Mr. Smith, Mr. George Smith, because Mr. Smith and I have known each other for some time, and Mrs. Smith and I have never met. But I wanted to thank him for putting in the special orders that I had personally requested, because otherwise I had to travel all the way to St. Louis to find my special tools, like for instance, the back seat of a car that converts easily to a bed. And so I had a special thank you party in my little apartment for Mr. Smith and a few of his friends.
I thought maybe you were behind that. I thought maybe you were there. Hey, Mr. Smith, I hope your ears were burning. Tell me about the day before the Emporium opened.
Well, the day started with me reviewing applications for the sales position.
Sure.
Janice came in. She was a little rough around the edges,
Oh,
but she was enthusiastic. So I hired her, and we had some training to do. Lunchtime, I needed a break. I went to saw Ruby. And that's kind of where I stayed for probably longer than I should have.
my understanding is that's not much of a rest. Janice, you got a new job. Tell us about that.
I am so excited, and we started training, and then he left, and I don't know what to do with all of these things. They're just like, you can't hang this up, so I'm not sure what to do with it. But I'm making it pretty out here, and I'm not sure if my mom's going to let me wear any of these clothes. But I'll have money to go shopping elsewhere, right?
Well, you will, but it might get you in trouble. Let's talk to Tammy about that. Tammy, the day before the Emporium opened.
The day before, Scooter was making things for that Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's such a sinner. Such a sinner. The town has been nothing but men in and out of her house every day since it happened. Okay, every man, if he wants to go, he goes to her. He goes to Ruby and ignores me.
Oh, okay. Now I'm understanding a little bit more. Okay. Hey, Stinky. You know, they were hiring over at the Bagel Emporium. What were you doing the day before the Emporium opened?
Well, day before, I was talking with Mrs. Acorn and talking about all the bad thoughts I was having, and intended to have actually when the Emporium was open. So I was kind of conflicted on applying for a position and whether or not my soul would burn in hell.
Almost certainly, but it's hard to avoid in this day and age. Liddy, tell me about the day before the big Emporium opened.
Well, I'm Miss Liddy, in case you don't mind that. But anyhow,
Miss Liddy. Miss Liddy.
Miss Liddy, yeah, you know that Miss Acorn. You
Yeah.
know, she may not be all y'all are thinking she is, because she came to me about 2 weeks before. She was crying, crying, crying. No man in this town ever pay no attention to me. Miss Liddy, can you help me? Miss Liddy, can you help me? So she and I put together a red, I'm telling you, she wanted the most red satin dress you ever saw.
Nice.
Low cut down to where almost her parts was showing
Wow.
in the back, and I had finished up that dress on the day before, and I was getting ready to deliver it.
All right. Well, then let's jump to the unfortunate events of the day that the Emporium opened. Tammy, I understand you were dressed to the nines. Tell us what happened.
I put on that beautiful dress that Miss Liddy made me. It was gorgeous. It went all the way down in front and back, and it was a little longer than I thought it was going to be, and I thought I could be all enticing and sweet and stuff, and I tripped, and I hit my head on the corner, and I died.
Oh, that's awful. Now, I understand, George, you were the first one on the scene. What happened?
Not only was I the first on the scene, I was stuck. I was stuck between Ruby and Tammy. I didn't know they both wanted me. And they came and they started fighting.
Oh, dear.
Oh my God, it was terrible. I should never have stopped Ruby from using that sledgehammer because she hit me instead.
Oh, so there was some kind of altercation and you got smashed in the head. Oh, it's a bad day for heads. Janice, where were you when all this was going on? And what happened to you?
I was looking out the window because there was all this commotion, and I was trying to fold things and make them pretty. And the next thing I know, the sledgehammer comes flying through the window, and the glass like sliced my wrist and my chest, and there was a chunk stuck back here, I think, too.
Oh, yeah, no, that's okay. We understand. We understand. Oh, that sounded awful. Hey, Scooter, that was your employee. What happened to you? You must have been next on the scene.
Uh, yeah, it's a little hard to talk about, but I was I had crawled under a car to take a look at the suspension, and all of a sudden, parts of this sledgehammer apparently flew into the windshield of the car, and the driver lost control and just ran my butt over. My chest was crushed with the front wheel.
Ooh, that's gruesome. Okay, that's very all right. All right. So that
Oh,
Miss Liddy, I hope I said it right. Miss Liddy, uh, your brand new dress was on a person who banged their head and they're gone. What happened to you?
You don't have to call me Miss Liddy no more. But, well, here's what happened. I was so upset about that Emporium opening. I took my old sewing machine and I went into town, and I was going to dump it in that big box crusher they put in the back of that Emporium. And I did kind of a 1 and a 2 and a 3. And as I went to toss it over, I didn't realize my hand was caught in the sewing machine,
Oh, dear.
and it just flung me. And I say flung me right into that box crusher, and bam, it just crushed me into a little old, not that big.
Several people are crushed in those. Hey, Stinky, I don't know if you know this. Before she died, Janice liked you. What happened to you that day?
Really? She liked me?
Ah, totally.
Wow. Wow, that makes death suck.
Does.
Yeah, well, I saw Miss Acorn in her dress, and I had a lot of bad thoughts. But then I saw her fall, and I rushed to go help her, and I slipped on the blood and I fell onto a bed that turned into a back seat and got crushed.
Oh, there were so many car accidents that day. I forgot about the car accidents. I'm sorry, Stinky. Ruby, a lot of this revolved around you. Now, I understand you were the last one standing in town, so how did it happen?
I sure was. Well, I saw all of this going on, and I thought, it says in the Bible, he who lives by the body shall die by the body, or it says something like that in the Bible. And I know what that means. And I saw Stinky, and I saw him in that beautiful bed seat thing that Scooter had made for me to celebrate the opening of anything that needed to be opened or closed. And I ran over to him and I thought, well, poor lamb, this is his last moment and he is so inexperienced. I thought, I have to give him a going away present.
Okay.
And so I leaped on top of him, and that bed couldn't take the extra weight distributed and went, and both of us just got smashed. And that was the end of that. But what a way to go.
It is a pretty good one. All right. That is all the news from the Moon River, and thanks for sharing with us. And thanks for joining us. Hey, there's going to be more improv right here on this page in just a couple of minutes. You stick around, and we will be right back.